let me get that one now. I have it here. Here the boom. So
Mm-hmm.
let's read it together. If a
Mm-hmm.
man have two wives, right? One beloved, I have another verse here too, and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated. And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated. What does he say here? Let me see what he says here.
He brought up a verse in Deuteronomy. It just says, if a man has two wives. How does he know they're at the same time? It's just because the law is about how you care for offspring. And even
So I can prove that we can definitely this can definitely be talking about them at the same time. I got to get another verse here. Quick, but hey, I'll pull this up here first. You can, yeah. So check that out. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what does that say? Can you read it for me? It's just for a quick, just quickly.
If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish?
Right. So, I mean, that. Um.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what? So what's that saying? Right.
Yeah, it's giving conditions for a second wife.
Right. And also one that's still alive.
Yep.
Right. One that is still alive. I would think that. I think that's what. So when he says that, how do you know they're still alive? Well, we can at least say that the law talks about a man having more than one wife, right? At the same time, this verse proves it. And
Mm-hmm.
so watch this, right? So I've done this a lot. This is one tactic you can use. I mean, it's not really a tactic; it's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? So what? Exodus 20:14. Thou shalt not commit adultery. The
Mm-hmm.
next chapter. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
The next chapter. So these are back to back.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So adultery, so this should give more what? More context to the definition of adultery. Because
Yep.
why in the heck would God allow, oops, sorry. God knows what adultery is. He's using Moses to write his law. Here he is, and he says in the next chapter, if you take another wife, that means taking another wife is not adultery. By
Mm-hmm. Not
context and
adultery.
definition, it's not.
Mm-hmm. It's not adultery. So IP's position was that the second wife is designed to be a wife taken after the first wife passes.
Yeah, like they're not alive at the same time. How do you know they're
Yeah.
not alive at the same time? The thing is, though, we don't, but at the same time, how do you know they're not alive at the same time?
Yeah, it would say if a man has two wives or takes another wife for the other scripture takes another wife after his wife passes or his wife dies, right? It would be more specific,
The specific, yeah,
right? But that's not
easily,
the case. Yeah.
easily be more specific, and also, let's be honest. So one thing that Captain Zach said that was the case for Leviticus 18:18. Can that not situation be applied to this situation? Easily,
Easily.
easily, right?
Yeah.
And if you think
Easily.
about it too with Abraham, because they did talk about Abraham, but if you think about it too, this is why Hagar had to be casted out. This is
Mm.
why she had to be a bondswoman. So they had to cast her out because you know why? Isaac was not going to get the inheritance because by technical inheritance laws, it would have belonged to. I'm sorry. Did I say Isaac? I'm sorry. It would have been to Ishmael, right? It would have belonged to
Yeah.
Ishmael. The thing is, it was not supposed to go to Ishmael. That's why he had to get kicked out.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So everything. This whole thing points to a man having two wives at the same time, or even if one of them passed, it doesn't matter. It would apply to both scenarios. So,
Mm-hmm.
but that's crazy to even. But like that's the rebuttal. Like I can't believe that's the like they stand on this, man. Like that I can't believe, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hard to believe. Hard to
Yeah,
believe.
man. Anyways, okay, let's get back to it.
time. It's just because the law is about how you care for offspring. And even if it is, it's just stating it as a fact. And I want to press him on that in the cross-examination because there's a lot more context about that we'll get to. So we brought up Rachel and Leah. Yeah, that was not good. In fact, if you actually read the story, it's very interesting. Jacob talks about his wives, and then when he wrestles with God, things change. After that, he only says Rachel is his wife. And if you go, for example, to go to Genesis 46, everyone, it only says Rachel is the wife, and it just says Leah, Bilhah, and Zilpah are those who bore children to him. The narrator is saying that only Rachel's the wife because the path forward is monogamy. Okay, what happened to Jacob and what he engaged in was sinful and wrong. The patriarchs were not perfect. We're not supposed to look at them as our moral exemplars. That's for sure. He brought up Matthew 19, but again, what does it say? Okay, first of all, it goes back to the creation account. A man shall leave his father and mother, cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Then what does he say after that? If you divorce and marry another, it is adultery. Why? Put them together. You are one flesh. If marrying another is adultery, because you're one flesh, marrying another before divorce would also be adultery. This is pretty clear according to scholars. This is pretty clear according to church fathers. So he said we divorce at high rates. This is irrelevant to the debate. The debate is what the Bible is teaching, and the Bible clearly outlaws polygamy. It is not promoting it whatsoever, and he's not given really any verses that actually show it's promoting it. He brought up 1 Corinthians 7.
No, I mean, is it promoting it? No, I don't think. I don't know. Those are just bad choice words, man. And I don't like when people use those choice words. But it's not a sin. I think that's all we're saying.
I think there's a scripture that says just on this point where when David committed adultery and grabbed another man's wife, and God said, I'm just paraphrasing, he basically said, wouldn't I have given you more wives if only you had asked?
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah,
isn't that what it says?
We're gonna get there too.
Yeah. We can stick to this one for now. Yeah.
Said the context is 1 Corinthians 5. What? No. Okay. So it talks about the man who is sleeping with his father's wife. It never says that's his mother. The mother could have died and he just remarried. Women died often in the ancient world due to high rates in death from childbirth. So that was pretty common. It's probably what happened. And even if it was the case, this guy was polygamous, which is very unlikely because he acknowledged in ancient Roman Empire, there was no polygamy. That's the Romans didn't permit that. So
I think that's a good counter scripture, bro. That's a good counterpoint, right? I think that's a beautiful counterpoint because how would you have multiple wives if under the Roman law they only allow one, right, with the marriage certificates and whatnot, right? And there's some groups out there that say that when Israel's in captivity, they don't have more than one wife, and so I mean, I never really checked behind that, but that's a bad point, man. Like I don't mind that point he brings up. So
yeah, that's a valid point somewhat.
So that's very, very unlikely according to the cultural